Hi students, welcome to lesson number 26, Idea of Development Planning and Mixed Economy, Vision of Social Change. The Encyclopedia Britannica defines social change as the alteration of mechanisms within the social structure characterized by changes in cultural symbols, rules of behavior, social organizations or value systems. Planning is a blueprint of how social change should take place in society. Planning tells us the area of priority and from where the resources to be utilized or mobilized. The goal of social change is development. Interestingly, to bring in social change, development planning is required. In India, development planning is an important prerequisite for economic development. After completion of this lesson, you will be able to understand the idea of development planning and mixed economy, comprehend how the above concepts bring in social change. Development planning and vision of social change. The strategy and vision of social change after independence underwent major transformations. The state took the responsibility of conscious planning of social transformation and creation of a society based on democratic political participation, social justice, cultural and religious pluralism within the framework of a secular state. Keeping in view the multicultural and plural fabric of India, the platform for economic development was mixed economy with presence of both public and private sector and combination of welfare and profit. Development planning is the process of thinking about and organizing the activities required to achieve a desired goal. Planning involves the creation and maintenance of a plan. In the Indian economic context, the major plan we talk about is the 5-year plan. For any country to grow and develop, proper mobilization and utilization of resources is necessary. Resources of a country include the natural resources and human resources. For proper mobilization of resources, effective planning is required. The process of social change envisions addressing issues like poverty, low per capita income, underdevelopment, unemployment, and for meeting these goals, development planning becomes mandatory. The idea of economic planning for facilitating development can be traced to 1934 when 𝗵𝗵𝗎 in his book Planned Economy of India advocated for planning to increase the national income. Noted civil engineer and administrator 𝗵𝗵𝗎 is regarded as the pioneer of economic planning in India. He suggested a 10-year plan with an outlay of rupees 1000 crore and a planned increase of 600% in industrial output per annum based on economic conditions of the time. The Bombay Plan, the People's Plan and Gandhian Plan provided further impetus in the direction of economic planning for development. After independence, a planning commission was set up in March 1950 by a cabinet resolution with the Prime Minister as its ex officio chairman to formulate 5-year plans for the economic development of the country. An inward-looking industrialization strategy for India's second 5-year plan that was directed by the development and expansion of the capital goods industries was formulated by P.C. Mahalanobis. The major milestones related to development planning in India are setting up of Planning Commission on 15th March 1950, first 5-year plan from 1st April 1950, dissolution of Planning Commission on 13th August 2014 and setting up of Niti Aayog, National Institution for Transforming India on 1st January 2015. Development planning focuses on growth and optimum resource utilization and also addresses concerns like population growth, food production, health, empowerment of vulnerable sections of the population, development of transport, communication, energy self-sufficiency, water conservation, air quality, trade and investment, peace, security and governance. The objectives of development planning are economic development, stability and economic self-reliance. This is the main objective of planning in India. Economic planning in India also aims at stable market conditions in addition to economic growth of India. This means keeping inflation low while also making sure that deflation in prices does not happen. Reduction in economic inequality. Measures to reduce inequality through progressive taxation, employment generation and reservation of jobs has been a central objective of Indian economic planning since independence. Regional development. Development planning in India aims to reduce regional disparities in development and suggest strategies to reduce them. For example, some states like Punjab, Haryana, Gujarat, Maharashtra and Tamil Nadu are relatively well developed economically, while states like Bihar, Orissa, Assam and Nagaland are economically backward. Others like Karnataka, Telangana and Andhra Pradesh have uneven development with world-class economic centers in cities and relatively less developed hinterland. Planning in India aims to study these disparities and suggest strategies to reduce them. Comprehensive and sustainable development. Development of all economic sectors such as agriculture, industry and services. Increase levels of employment. An important aim of economic planning in India is to better utilize the available human resources of the country by increasing the employment levels. Self-sufficiency. India aims to be self-sufficient in major commodities and also increase exports through development planning. Social welfare and provision of efficient social services. The objectives of all the 5-year plans as well as plans suggested by Niti Aayog aim to increase labor welfare, social welfare for all the sections of the society. Development of social services in India such as education, healthcare and emergency services has been part of planning in India. Social justice. It has been a central focus of planning in India. It aims at poverty alleviation and provide equitable access to civic services. Increase standard of living. Increasing the standard of living by increasing the per capita income and equal distribution of income is one of the main aims of development planning. Modernization. Development planning facilitates in bringing rationalism and developing scientific temper. It is an all-encompassing and global process of cultural and socio-economic changes whereby developing countries seek to acquire some of the characteristics common to industrially advanced countries. Development planning, 5-year plans. The Planning Commission was set up in March 1950 by a resolution of the Government of India to streamline the process of planning with the objectives of overall development. The Constitution of India has guaranteed fundamental rights to the citizens of India and directive principles of state policy. It ensures that state shall strive to promote the welfare of the people by securing and protecting social order in which social, economic and political justice is rendered. The Constitution clearly reflects that development planning should secure the following. The citizens should equally have the right to an adequate means of livelihood. The ownership and control of the material resources of the community are so distributed as best to subserve the common good. The operation of economic system does not result in the concentration of wealth and means of production to the common detriment. The nation has seen 12 5-year plans. The objectives and success of different 5-year plans in India has been briefly presented. First 5-year plan between 1951 to 56. It aimed towards the improvement in the fields of agriculture, irrigation and power, and the plan projected to decrease the country's reliance on food grain imports, resolve the food crisis and ease the raw material problem, especially in jute and cotton. Nearly 45% of the resources were designated for agriculture, while industry got a modest 4.9%. The focus was to maximize the output from agriculture, which would then provide the momentum for the industrial growth. The first 5-year plan proved dramatic success as agriculture production hiked, national income went up by 18%, per capita income by 11% and per capita consumption by 9%. Second 5-year plan 1956 to 61. It projected towards the agriculture programs and to meet the raw material needs of the industry besides covering the food needs of the increasing population. The industrial policy of 1956 was socialistic in nature. The plan aimed at 25% increase in national income. Second 5-year plan showed a moderate success. Agricultural production was greatly affected by the unfavorable monsoon in 1957, 1958 and 1959 and 1960, and also the Suez crisis blocked international trading, increasing the commodity prices. Third 5-year plan 1961 to 1966. The plan's main motive was to make the country self-reliant in agriculture and industry, and for this allotment for power sector was increased to 14.6% of the total disbursement. The plan aimed to increase national income and agriculture production by 30% and to promote economic developments in backward areas. Unfeasible manufacturing units were augmented with subsidies and agriculture production by 30%. The third 5-year plan was affected by wars with China in 1962 and Pakistan in 1965 and bad monsoon. 2 successive years of drought, devaluation of the currency, a general rise in prices and erosion of resources disrupted the planning process, and after 3 annual plans between 1966 and 1969, the fourth 5-year plan was started in 1969. The fourth 5-year plan from 1969 to 1974. This 5-year plan mainly emphasized on encouraging education and creating employment opportunities for the marginalized section of the society, as improvement in their standard of living would only make the country economically self-reliant. Another aim of the plan was to create awareness about the family planning program among Indians. The achievements of the fourth plan were not as per the expectations, as agriculture and industrial growth was just at 2.8% and 3.9% respectively. Fifth 5-year plan from 1974 to 1979. The fifth plan mainly aimed on checking inflation and various non-economic variables like nutritional requirements, health, family planning, etc. The plan anticipated 5.5% growth rate in national income. The plan could not complete its 5-year tenure and was discontinued by the new Janata government in the 4th year only. Sixth 5-year plan 1980 to 1985. The sixth 5-year plan was formulated by the Congress government in 1980, which equally focused on infrastructure and agriculture. The plan was successful in achieving a growth of 6% per annum. Seventh 5-year plan 1985 to 1989. The plan focused at improving various sectors like welfare, education, health, family planning, and also encouraged employment opportunities. The plan introduced programs like 𝗕𝗏𝗧𝗧 𝗧𝗏𝗧. This plan was proved successful in spite of severe drought conditions for first 3 years consecutively. The period between 1989 to 1991. This period was of political instability, hence no 5-year plan was implemented during the period. Only annual plans were made for the period between 1990 and 1992. The country faced severe balance of payment crisis. The 8th plan could not take off in 1990 due to the fast changing political situation at the center, and the years 1990 to 1991 and 1991 to 92 were treated as annual plans. 8th 5-year plan 1992 to 1997. The 8th plan aimed towards modernization of industries, poverty reduction, encouraging employment, strengthening the infrastructure. Other important concerned areas were devaluation of rupees, dismantling of license prerequisite, and decreased trade barriers. The plan helped to achieve an annual growth rate of 5.6% in GDP and also controlled inflation. 9th 5-year plan 1997 to 2002. The 9th 5-year plan focused on increasing agricultural and rural income and to improve the conditions of the marginal farmer and landless laborers. The plan helped to achieve average annual growth rate of 6.7%. 10th 5-year plan 2002 to 2007. The 10th 5-year plan targeted towards making India's economy as the fastest growing economy on the global level, with an aim to raise the growth rate to 10% and to reduce the poverty rate and increase the literacy rate in the country. The plan showed success in reducing poverty ratio by 5%, increasing forest cover to 25%, increasing literacy rates to 65%, and taking the economic growth of the country over 8%. 11th 5-year plan 2007 to 2012. The 11th 5-year plan targeted to increase GDP growth to 10%, to reduce educated unemployment to below 5%, while it aimed to reduce infant mortality rate to 28 and maternal mortality ratio to 1 per 1000 live births, reduce total fertility rate to 2.1 in the health sector. The plan also targeted to ensure electricity connection, clean drinking water to all villages, and increase forest and tree cover by 5%. 12th 5-year plan 2012 to 2017. 12th 5-year plan, as per the draft document released by Planning Commission, aimed at a growth rate of 8%. 12th 5-year plan focused on faster, inclusive and sustainable growth. There are 25 core monitorable targets of the 12th 5-year plan. They are economic growth, real GDP growth at 8%, agriculture growth at 4%, manufacturing growth at 10%. Poverty and employment, poverty rates to be reduced by 10% than the rate at the end of 11th plan. 5 crore new work opportunities and skill certifications in non-farm sector. Education, mean years of schooling to increase to 7 years, 20 lakh seats for each age bracket in higher education, end gender gap and social gap in school enrollment. Health, reduce IMR to 25, MMR to 1, increase child sex ratio to 950 and reduce total fertility rate to 2.1. Reduce undernutrition of children in age group of 0 to 3 to half of NFHS 3 levels. Infrastructure, investment in infrastructure at 9% of GDP, gross irrigated area of 103 million hectare from 90 million hectare, electricity and road connectivity to all villages, complete eastern and western dedicated freight corridors, rural tele-density to 70%, 40 liters per capita per day drinking water to 50% of rural population, Nirmal Gram status to 50% of all Gram Panchayats, environment and sustainability, increase green cover by 1 million hectare every year, 30,000 megawatt renewable energy during 5-year period, emission intensity of GDP to be reduced to 20 to 25% of 2005 levels by 2020, service delivery, banking services to 90% of Indian households. The 12th 5-year plan ended on 31st March 2017, which was extended 6 months for enabling ministries to complete their appraisals. The 12th 5-year plan appraisal by Niti Aayog states that higher focus on capital intensive and high skilled sectors in India has led to fast growth only in segments such as automobile and telecom, which do not employ low skilled workers. As a result of this, vast majority of workers remain concentrated in agriculture and unorganized sectors. There is no 13th 5-year plan for India. The new plan by Niti Aayog, which is a vision document, is accompanied by shorter sub-plans. A 7-year strategy for 2017 to 2024 and a 3-year action agenda from 2017-18 to 2019-20. No less than 300 specific action points covering a wide range of sectors have been drawn up as part of the 15-year vision. The 3-year agenda is further divided into 7 parts with a number of specific action points for each part to boost economic growth. The key points from this document are as follows: reducing fiscal deficit to 3% by 2018-19 and revenue deficit to 0.9% of the GDP by 2019-20, to double farmers' income by several means including reform in agricultural produce market committees, raising productivity through enhanced irrigation, faster seed replacement rates, recession agriculture and a shift to high value commodities, horticulture, animal husbandry, fisheries, etc. to moot the idea of coastal employment zones to boost exports and generate high productivity, to address the non-performing assets of banks and supports auction of larger assets, to include bringing down the land prices to make housing affordable through increased supply of urban land, city transport and waste management, to have targeted development of northeast, coastal areas and islands, North Himalayan states, desert and drought prone states, transport and digital connectivity. It also emphasizes on railway infrastructure and security, inland waterways, civil aviation, etc. Other points included here are ensuring last mile connectivity, e-governance, financial inclusion, simplifying payment structure and improving literacy, to facilitate public-private partnership by reorienting the role of India Infrastructure Finance Company Limited, introducing low-cost debt instruments and putting National Investment Infrastructure Fund to work, to emphasize to adopt consumer-friendly measures such as provision of electricity to all households by 2022, LPG connection to all households and elimination of black carbon by 2022, extension of city gas distribution program to 100 smart cities, reducing cross subsidy in power sector, reforming the coal sector, etc. Mixed economy. The term mixed economy means prevalence of public, private and joint sectors side by side in a system. In such a system, the state participates as an active partner with the private enterprise in the process of economic development. We can say that under a mixed economy, the entire economic system in a country is split up into three parts. Firstly, sectors in which both production and distribution are entirely managed and controlled by the state to complete exclusion of private enterprise. Secondly, sectors in which the state and private enterprise jointly participate in production as well as in distribution. And thirdly, sectors which are in exclusive and complete control of private enterprise. These sectors are subject to general control and regulation of the state. Mixed economy is an economy where more than one set of principles of economic organization and management are used at the same time. In the economic sphere, the state has to direct its policy in order to secure a better distribution of ownership and control of material resources of the community and to prevent exploitation of labor and concentration of wealth in the hands of a few. Features of mixed economy. The significant features of mixed economy are large public sector. Presence of a large public sector along with private sector makes the character of the economy mixed. In socialist countries, public sector plays a major role in almost all the sectors of the economy. Planned economy and government control. Periodical plans are made by the government to reach the set destination and uphold social welfare. The private sector is regulated and controlled by the government. Private property and economic equality. There is strong presence of private sector with profit motive. Nevertheless, the government through a well-planned mix of laws, taxes and welfare programs ensures fair distribution of income and wealth. Price mechanism and regulated economy. While the prices of some essential commodities such as domestic fuel, railway fares, postal charges, etc. are in the hands of the public sector, the price mechanism also exists. Profit motive and social welfare. Mixed economy presents combination of capitalist and socialist economies leading to dual objectives of profits and social welfare. Private ownership of means of production and profit induced commodity product. In many mixed economies as well as in India, at present a large segment of the industrial sector is in private hands. Decisive role of the market mechanism. Market mechanism has a crucial role to play in Indian economy. Prices of most of the commodities and factors of production are determined by interplay of demand and supply forces. Joint sector. A joint sector provides a very important avenue for balanced industrial development. It complements growth in the public and private sectors. It is a tool for social control over industry without resorting to complete nationalization. It is needed for an equitable and egalitarian economic growth in the country. Planning in mixed economy. Mixed economy is necessarily a planned economy. Since mixed economy operates under divergent situations, conflicting set of motivations, the planning process in a mixed economy is extremely complex. In a mixed economy, government uses various instruments to bring about planned development such as industrial licensing, land reforms, development of service sector, subsidies and other measures like capital issue control, labor legislation, price regulations and foreign collaboration approval system. Industrial licensing. Licensing facilitates prevention of concentration of economic power in the form of ownership of industries. Industries Development and Regulation Act 1981 and Monopolies and Restrictive Trade Practices Act 1969 are crucial legislative frameworks. Land reforms. The objective of land reforms is to bring about institutional changes to make property relations favorable to the tillers of the soil. It aims to remove all elements of exploitation, social injustice within the agrarian system. Development of services sector. In the tertiary sector, the mixed economy system has sought to explain the role of the state in the provision of various services. For this purpose, a number of nationalization measures were initiated, beginning with the nationalization of Imperial Bank of India to set up the State Bank of India in 1955. Subsidies. Subsidies have become an important part of India's economic system. It is a part of non-plan expenditure of the government. Major subsidies in India are petroleum, fertilizer, food, interest subsidy, etc. The other mechanisms are: government also tries to regulate the private sector through capital issues control. It means that corporate sector is required to obtain government's permission for the issue of any capital, equity debenture and bond. Foreign collaboration approval system. It means that any project envisaging foreign collaboration has to secure prior permission of the government. Through price regulation also, government regulates the private sector. For many commodities, pricing of goods and services is under government control. Government is involved in fixation of maximum prices for commodities, etc. Merits of mixed economy: economic freedom, equality and capital formulation, competition and efficient production, efficient allocation of resources, freedom from exploitation. Demerits of mixed economy: unstable economy. Based on the strength at a given time, one sector dominates the other, thereby tilting towards one economic system. This may destabilize the mixed economy in the long run. Constrained growth. In a mixed economy, neither the private sector is allowed to operate freely, nor does the public sector function to its optimum efficiency. This prevents desired growth in both the sectors. Lack of efficiency and corruption. Development planning and mixed economy are significant mechanisms of bringing in social change. The process of social change envisions addressing issues like poverty, low per capita income, underdevelopment, unemployment, and for meeting these goals, development planning becomes mandatory. Development planning focuses on growth and optimum resource utilization and also addresses concerns like population growth, food production, health, empowerment of vulnerable sections of the population, development of transport, communication and energy self-sufficiency, water conservation and air quality, trade and investment, peace, security and governance. Till 2017, India witnessed 12 5-year plans followed by plans by Niti Aayog. The term mixed economy means prevalence of public, private and joint sectors side by side in a system. Mixed economy is necessarily a planned economy. The planning process in a mixed economy is extremely complex.